This video is about Zinnia elegans Magellan, and I would like to explain good practices that lead to a healthy and thriving crop. I will explain you several measures which will help you to succeed in growing zinnias. First is, how can you prevent single flowers? Another measure is the importance of substrate characteristics. Measure 3 is how to keep an active climate. And the last point is the strict sanitation to prevent fungal and bacterial pathogens. Okay, let me start with preventing single flowers. If you want to have an early flowering crop, small pots, grow your plants, your plugs on the short days and finish them on the short days. By doing this, you will have your flowering plants the earliest, and you will have the least single flowers. You can also grow your plants on the short days and finish them on the long days. They still will be early, a bit later, and still you will have the most double flowers. If you want to grow a bigger plant, you need more vegetative growth. And by doing that, apply during the plug stage long days and finish on the long days. The plant will grow longer vegetative. It will of course take more time because you need a bigger plant, and still you will have the most double flowers. Okay, what is also important, the substrate characteristics. Zinnias require a well-drained and porous media. They do not tolerate compacted or standing water. It all invites diseases like rhizoctonia and sclerotinia. So an aerated media can still become clogged when you press it too tightly. It is called potting behavior, and if you press it too tightly, you press out all the air out of your pots. You can see that on the picture over here. And if you press it a less bit tight, you keep more air in your substrate. Another advantage is also that you use less of your expensive media, so there's another advantage there. So if you press it too hard, what will happen? The oxygen will drop. You can see that over there. The water content will go up, and also the fertilizer content will go up. But most important is, if you press it too hard, you will press all the oxygen out of the substrate. So how can you keep your substrate aerated? You can add additives to your substrate. Now here on the right you see a picture with nice aerated pot with nice white roots. And you can see the plants are growing healthy and the roots as well. So what kind of additives can you add to your substrate? You can add perlite, you can add cocoa pieces, white peat moss, white rice chaff or bark. And additionally, you can also add trichoderma to your plugs. You drench it in, and the advantage of drenching it into the plug is that the trichoderma go along with the plant into the finishing pot. So that really helps to make the plant stronger, as the trichoderma binds on the roots, and it will make the plant make it easier for the plant to take up water and nutrients, so you get a more resilient plant. Okay, another important topic is to keep an active climate. The zinnia finish them at a DRI of 12 moles a day, and although they need high light, they prefer moderate temperatures, so they don't like very high temperatures. Also, when you water, preferably water them in the early morning, and also when you apply PGRs or other active ingredients, try to do that in the early morning so that the plant has the chance to dry up and go dry into the night. So ventilators, run them on cloudy days and during the night, and also important, keep your fertilizer levels up until sending them to your customers. Something what is often forgotten is heat emission at night. When you have clear skies, there can be heat emission from the plant to the greenhouse structure to the clear sky, and that might be that your plant remains warmer than your greenhouse air temperature. When that happens, there's risk of condensation on your plants, and that can bring all kinds of diseases. Another one is to run your ventilators at night, because with still standing air, the microclimate around the leaf will remain and the plants will not evaporate. You can solve that by running your fans during the night. So what is important at night? Close your screens, so you will break the heat emission from the plants, from the structure of your greenhouse to the sky, and run your ventilators at night to remove the microclimate around the leaf. Okay, sanitation, very important to prevent fungal and bacterial pathogens. Zinnia in general are sensitive to fungal and bacterial pathogens in the plug growing stage and in the finishing stage. If sanitation and treatments are not in place, there's a likelihood that you get those diseases. And that's why it's important, when you had an infection in previous cycles, not to put your plants at the same spot again. Also, try to put it in another greenhouse. If that is not possible, try to put it as far away in the same greenhouse of your previous cycle to prevent infections to occur. What is also very helpful is to move the plants from the ground, because fungal infections could remain in the ground. By lifting them up to tables, there's less likelihood to run into infections. And tables are much easier to disinfect than your ground cover. Okay, to follow up on this, when you finish your season, please disinfect your greenhouse thoroughly. Move all weeds, plant material, ground cover, plastic, old pots, old trays, trolleys and so on. Remove it all from the greenhouse and disinfect the equipment you want to bring in later again. So when your greenhouse is empty, disinfect your whole greenhouse thoroughly from top to bottom, and make sure that the disinfectant trickles a bit into the ground, because fungal diseases could be present in there still. Okay, another important topic is to not leave anything on the ground. Pathways and everything can be considered as dirty. So always make sure that shower heads, for example, are lifted up from the ground. Also hoses, they are often lying on the floor, but it's a good idea to consider hanging them in the greenhouse so that they are not in contact with the ground. Good sanitation is also not about bringing diseases into the greenhouse. That is the start clean, stay clean concept, and preventing this of bringing diseases in, That can be done by putting foot bath and hand disinfection unit at the entrance. Yeah, if they are there, then they should be used by anyone entering the greenhouse, but also make sure that the disinfectant is replaced every day and that the foot baths are cleaned very frequently, because any dirt particles in your disinfectant make it less effective. Also, when you bring in trolleys and so on into the greenhouse, please disinfect them up front. You can do that with a small knapsack sprayer, and don't forget to disinfect the wheels as well. Up front the season, it's always a good idea to send a water sample to a agroscience lab to make sure that your water is clean. So, thank you for watching this video, and taking the proper care of your plants will bring you lots of joy through thriving and long-lasting zinnias. Are there any questions? We are always happy to help you at Syngenta Flowers, and you can always contact a sales representative. Thank you very much.